Pues muchísimas gracias, Manuel. Vamos con nuestra siguiente entrevista del día. Nos acompaña Nico Paesch, Industry Economist at Oxford Economics. Good afternoon, Nico.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
In first place, we have seen the meeting between Donald Trump and Nayib Bukele with a strong focus on security. What impact could a massive deportation campaign have on US inflation?
Well, our research suggests that about 7 million, and probably more, in fact, people who are working in the US today are people who are not legally in the country, so they don't have a work visa. This is concentrated in a couple of different sectors, agriculture, construction, leisure and hospitality. And to the extent that the administration is successful in removing a large percentage of these people from the country and deporting them, it is very likely to exacerbate the labor shortages that we see in some of these industries. Construction notoriously has a higher rate of job vacancies than other parts of the economy. A lot of people don't want to do these jobs. It will then push up wages in these industries. To a certain extent, that can be, the president says that that's what he wants to do, but it will very likely also push up prices very strongly in these industries. The cost of building will go up substantially. The cost of food, both from the agriculture and from the food production side, things like meat packing. Already during the COVID-19 pandemic, price of meat went up very, very high because of production shutdowns, because of the working conditions in these factories. And to the extent that the president is successful in removing a large chunk of the workforce in these sectors where people are not likely to want to replace them without much, much higher wages, the result will likely be price increases.
Nico, have the markets already adjusted to Trump's tariff change?
So I think the answer to this is yes and no, because obviously on the one hand, they have started going down in coincidence with when he started announcing these tariffs that to a certain extent were higher than what was expected. Before, markets had been focusing on tax cuts and deregulation. They thought that these tariff threats were just a negotiating ploy, and then they turned very real very fast. But on the other hand, I think that a lot of the market is also to a certain extent pricing in the idea that they will get removed or softened. Because if you look at what's on the books right now, in 90 days, many of the reciprocal tariffs that President Trump has announced will come back online. He has promised that electronics and semiconductors will be tariffed, which counteracts a lot of the euphoria we saw today, for example, as gains, Apple went up quite a bit because there was optimism that there had been exemptions for these goods in the past. I think the market is expecting that there will be more of those exemptions, that there will be more walkbacks, and that the president is going to moderate or soften his stance, make a lot of deals that will help people. And I think that's not necessarily what is in line with the stated policy right now. So to the extent that if the tariffs remain as stated right now without any changes, I think the markets have not priced that in and could go down further if there is not this expected improvement in the situation over the coming weeks.
Will the tariff pause help pave the way for real agreement, or will it merely drag out of the process?
I think the jury is very out on that. Obviously, a tariff pause is good because it gives all sides time to negotiate. On the other hand, it has been clear that a lot of other parties, there's been reports in the press that they're not even clear what the United States wants at this point. And when that's the case, it's very hard to strike a deal. Now, that being said, the president has said that there are many negotiating teams at the White House, or in the US. And so I think we can likely expect that there will be some deals over the coming weeks and months. But of course, the big ones that we're all waiting for are deals with the EU, with Canada, with Mexico, and with China, and those will likely take a long time. We've seen some reports about the president wants the Chinese president to call him first, but the Chinese are not willing, and who knows and who goes. And so this might drag out the process for quite a long time. These deals are very complicated. And what the president wants is, in his stated objective, is a total redoing of international trade. He wants an improvement for the United States in a way that is not necessarily clear. And so it will take time to negotiate these deals, and it's very possible we will see more pauses, more escalations, and more drama along the way.
Nico Paesch, Industry Economist at Oxford Economics. thank you for joining us. Good afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Y vamos a contarles una noticia de última hora que nos lleva a esas negociaciones que está protagonizando el enviado de la Unión Europea, el comisario Šefčovič, con Estados Unidos. Lo que les contamos es que a esta hora Šefčovič confirma que se ha reunido en Washington con el secretario de Estado de Estados Unidos, con Howard Lutnick, también con el embajador, con Jamieson Greer, para hablar de las negociaciones, aprovechando la ventana de 90 días para una solución mutua a los aranceles, dice Šefčovič, injustificados. Pues bien, lo que dice el negociador de la Unión Europea, el comisario Šefčovič, es que la Unión Europea se mantiene constructiva, como pueden ver ustedes aquí, se mantiene constructiva y dispuesta a alcanzar un acuerdo justo que incluye la reciprocidad mediante nuestra propuesta de aranceles cero para los bienes industriales y la labor sobre barreras no arancelarias. Lograrlo requerirá un importante esfuerzo conjunto de ambas partes, así que desde la Unión Europea califican de favorable, de optimista y de satisfactorio